Hey, this is John Lee Dumas of EO Fire, and welcome to Master Leadership. Great leaders ask great questions, and this podcast takes you on a journey to master leadership with questions that matter to leaders who matter with your host, Lily Sanabria.
Hi, this is Lily, and welcome to Master Leadership, where we connect with leaders worldwide to gain insights on important topics to help us on our journey towards greater significance. If you would like to participate as a guest, or if you have a question that you would like to ask a guest, go to masterleadership.org for more information. Ari Galper is the world's #1 authority on trust-based selling and is one of the most experienced sales growth advisors in the world. He is the creator of Unlock the Game, a revolutionary sales approach that overturns the notion of selling as we know it today. He has created breakthrough sales strategies for global companies such as UPS and QUALCOMM. Ari has also been interviewed on major news networks such as CNN Money and CEO Magazine. He has shared the stage with successful entrepreneurs like Tony Robbins and Joe Theisman. Our interview will begin right after messages from our sponsors. Did you know that a great accountant can double your business and save you tens of thousands of dollars every single year? But it's hard to find the good ones. That's where Accountant Hires comes in. They match you with an exceptional accountant in just 7 days. Every accountant in their network is rigorously tested and vetted, so you can focus on what matters. Hire a top accountant today at Accountant Hires. Go to masterleadership.org/AH. That's masterleadership.org/AH. If you want to make money and change lives by selling your knowledge online, do not launch an online course. Only 6% of those are ever completed. Create instead your own branded app and launch the ultimate learning experience that sells. Passion.io is a drag-and-drop platform where you create interactive content to sell using your own branded app. Forget any tech hassles. You deserve a platform that makes it easy. You can move your existing clients, you can reach new clients, or you can even swap your online course for something that actually works. Delight clients with downloadable and even live content. You can trigger instant action using push notifications, generate more revenue with single touch payment, and you can stream across all devices. Best yet, try it for free for 14 days. Go to masterleadership.org/passion and get started today. Welcome, Ari Galper. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Well, we're excited to have you. Are you ready to pour into our listeners?
Absolutely.
All right. So, Ari, tell us a bit about your path to leadership and what you're doing now.
So I specialize in a unique niche called trust-based selling. And I've been in this niche for almost 20 years now, just working and carving out and chipping away at a way to sell with integrity, without compromising your values, and not chasing people and playing that dysfunctional game that we all have to make a living in sales. And so I've redefined that word to a whole new definition based on real trust and authenticity.
Well, I love that. You know, my word is trust because the foundation of leadership is trust. So trust-based selling, tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. It might be helpful to tell you a big story about how I invented this. 20 years ago, I was a sales manager in a software company, and we launched the first online website tracking tools to collect user data called Google Analytics now. Back then, actually cost money. And I was managing 18 people underneath me at the time. And the big leads came across my desk, the big opportunities. It's one call came through. I got the phone call, and they're really nice guys with a huge company, lots of websites. And if I close this one sale, it will double the revenue in one sale. That's how big it was. So the day finally came, Friday at 4:00 in the afternoon, they agreed to a conference call and a demo. And I was in my conference room with my CEO, and they were in their offices somewhere in the back east. And I dialed the conference line phone number and I hit the speakerphone, and my guy picks it up. He's like, "Hey, Ari, how's it going?" And he says to me, "Let us tell you who's with us today, Ari, on the line." I was like, "Oh, Okay, great. Next thing I hear is, my name is Mike, I'm CEO. I was like, oh, this is good. My name is Chris, I'm head of global IT. This is even better. My name is Julie, I'm head of marketing. Amazing. I mean, everybody on this call was a decision maker, right? Like, this is going to happen. It's going to happen today. So I introduced myself, explained what we do, gave a live demo over the web of our product, showing them how it all works in real time. And I'm showing this to them. And I started these noises on the phone call, like, wow, this is great. This is amazing. They start asking me all kinds of questions. How does it work? How do we install it? How does it operate? Of course, I had all the answers. I was a student at the time of sales. And there was so much chemistry on this phone call, Lily. It was like a love fest on the phone. Do you know what I'm talking about?
What happens?
It just felt so right. Like there was no resistance. Like, oh, thank you, God, And an hour goes by, call was amazing. Call comes to a close, and my contact says to me, Ari, this is great. We love it. Give us a call in a couple of weeks, follow up with us, and we'll move this thing forward. I'm like, thank you, God. I was so happy. I said my goodbyes. I took my hand and I reached for the speakerphone in the middle of the table. As I'm reaching for the phone, hit the off button by complete accident. Now it's divine intervention. I hit the mute button instead of the off button. They were right next to each other, and a small click happened, and they thought I hung up the phone. In that split second, a voice inside of me said, Ari, go to the dark side. Be a fly in the wall. Go where no one's ever gone before in the world of sales. And I pulled my thumb back for a couple of seconds. They started talking amongst themselves, thinking I had left the call. This is not a trick question, but what would you expect them to say after a call like that?
They sounded very positive. So I'm imagining some positivity, but also some pushback.
Well, let me share with you what they said verbatim, word for word. I'll never forget it. That's why we're here today. Here's what they said. They said, we're not going to go with him. Keep using him for more information and make sure we shop someplace else cheaper. Knife in heart twist. I was in a state of shock. I couldn't believe it.
I felt that.
I hit the off button. I looked at the wall and I said to myself, what did I do wrong? I was ethical. I was competent. I was professional. I did everything I was taught to do by the gurus, the books in my car. I did what I was supposed to do. And the first big epiphany hit me. And you can tell me if you agree with this or not. Somewhere along the way, it has become socially acceptable not to tell the truth to people who sell, right?
Right.
It's okay to say things like, sounds good. Send me information. We're definitely interested. Oh, wait, send me a what? Send me a proposal.
Yeah.
Without any intention at all of buying.
Right.
And I said to myself, wow, why were they afraid to just tell me the truth? I'd be okay with that too. And I realized what's going on out there is there's an invisible river of pressure that flows underneath every conversation you have with somebody in your sales process. And if you're not aware of that pressure and you don't constantly remove it from the process, you can't build authentic trust with people when you create this moment of vulnerability where they feel comfortable telling you their truth. If you can't get that deep level with people in your sales process, you'll always play that chasing game, chasing ghosts, the numbers game, and always get caught up in that dysfunctional behavior that's just dehumanizing. I decided, you know what? I'm going to change the definition of the word selling and make it good for everyone and more successful. And that's the premise of trust-based selling.
So it's about developing a trust relationship, like a rapport with your client.
No, actually, there's no rapport and there's no relationship building. I discovered that relationship building and trust building are mutually exclusive. Meaning what happens is we've been taught when we meet someone, we try to get them to like us and know us. Oh, how's it going? How are you? Great. See, we lay it on real thick because we think our job is for them to get to like us and know us. But it turns out they don't really want to become your friend. It's fake anyways. They know it's not real. What they really want is their problem solved. So I have a new mindset where you shift to a doctor-patient relationship, where you're the doctor, they're the patient. Your goal is to diagnose their problem, not build a relationship with them. It's like when you go see a doctor, what do they say to you first thing? They don't say, hey, how's it going? They say, yes. Where does it hurt?
Right.
Now they have bedside manner. They're warm and empathetic. I'm not saying you got to be cold and aloof. You can still be your warm self. But you are not supposed to build a relationship with someone pre-sale. You do that after they're a client, not before they're a client. Here's the problem. If you mix social norms and business norms together, it gets way too mushy. And what happens is then everyone gets loose in the process and there's no reason to call you back anymore because you're friends. But if you keep it business oriented in this model I'm talking about today, where mindset is their goal is not the sale, your goal is the truth of where they stand, then that mindset shift using our approach changes everything.
So the goal is to get to the truth, to the heart of the matter, what's their pain point and what you can offer to help them.
Well, the truth really means, are they committed and prepared to solve their own problem? It's like a therapist and a patient. If the patient doesn't own the problem, they're the worst patients to ever have in the world. You got to drag them through. So part of this is shifting the ownership to them to want to solve their problem, not to you to pitch your solution. This isn't about you. This isn't about your solution. That goes 10 steps forward. Now it's about being present and in their world and being all about them, not about us.
I love it. Now, where can we learn more about this, Ari?
The best place to go is unlockthegame.com. I've got a book there called Unlock the Sales Game you can pick up, free intro course as well. And also I do a live show once a month on LinkedIn called Stump the Guru, where you can jump on live, ask me your toughest sales challenge that you have. You're chasing someone right now, you can't make a sale, whatever's happening in your life around selling, ask me the question live and I'll answer it for you. And also say hello to me there, connect with me.
Fantastic. Unlockthegame.com. So what's been the toughest question you've had so far?
Gosh, after 20 years, I think I've heard most of them, but I will give you a great scenario, which is quite common, which shows you how we use our approach. Let's say you're having a first call with the phone with somebody, a first conversation. It's a great chemistry, good fit, good opportunity. Call comes to a close. Normally you say things like, great, how about we move forward? Next step, have a cup of coffee. See, we're conditioned. When we sense an opportunity, our job is to move things where?
Forward. Yeah.
Right. But what happens if you attempt to move things forward and they aren't ready yet? What do you break with them right there early in the process? You break trust with them, right? So same scenario, our mindset, our approach, and our language, and we have our own unique trust-based languaging. Here's an example. So the call is going well, good chemistry, call comes to a close. We're saying, hey, how about we move forward? What we say instead is this. We say, where do you think we should go from here?
I like that question.
Now, what's shifting in that moment there?
The onus is on them. They're making that decision. And so they have to honor their own word.
Correct.
Interesting. I like that.
When you say to somebody, where do you think we should go from here? They're usually in a state of shock. They can't believe somebody asked them what they want to do. They're so used to people being taking them down a sales process, which they hate anyways. So this is about cutting off a sales model that's linear and being deep in their world until you hear the magic phrase, which is, how can you help me?
I'm loving this, Ari.
People engage when you remove yourself from the sales process. They push back from you when you pull them down a process.
I'm sold. All right. So Ari, as a lifelong learner, what are you learning right now?
I'm just finishing a book called 80-20 Sales and Marketing by Perry Marshall, which is an excellent book on how to view the world in this prism around what priorities you should be working on, what kind of clients you need, how to think about your sales process.
All right. So let's kind of shift to leadership. When you think of leadership today, what most concerns you and what are you most hopeful about?
Well, what concerns me is that a lot of leaders today are still not fully authentic with themselves. They're still playing games. They're still trying to pull the puppet strings with people. They're just not willing to say the truth sometimes. And that creates a lot of inconsistency in communication. People sense they can't come to you because you're just not fully transparent. I'll tell you, my son, Toby, when he was born, we were told that he had Down syndrome. And at first we weren't sure how to handle it. We realized what a gift we had in our hands. If you know someone has Down syndrome, you know they're beautiful people. They're loving. I wrote a book about him called Lessons from Toby. They're transparent. They're open. They're just so fluid. And I realized he's the model for leadership. He's just so open, direct, caring, loving, and willing to tell the truth. And I said to myself, why can't we all be like that? He's the hero. He's the model. And that's what I've founded my entire approach on, is how can you be more direct, authentic, and transparent in your process in selling and leadership and all kinds of people. Look, this is really, it's about trust-based communication, not just selling. It's how do you communicate with trust in all parts of your life, from teams to relationships to kids. And I've got an interesting story. I did a talk a few years ago, a huge event, 500 people, and one person ran across the stage to me at the end. And I said, whoa. I said, are you in sales, sir? He goes, no. I said, why do you want to learn about what I do? He goes, because I have a teenage son.
Oh.
I said, really, what's going on? Well, he got a new car and he comes home now late every night past curfew. When he walks in the front door, he puts his earphones on, he goes right to the room. Like, he and I cannot communicate. It's 2 ships in the night passing each other. He cannot relate to me and I can't talk to him. And I want to learn your approach to break through, to trust with him. I was like, whoa, that's a new one. So he worked with us for a while. He came back. I said, what happened? One night he came home late. I took a deep breath. I went to your mindset, use your language. And I said this to him. I said, son, would you be open to the possibility of us working together to solve this problem of you coming home late every night? Would you be open to that? He says it just like that. And his son pauses, turns his head and says to him, are you on drugs, Dad? What are you smoking? What are you drinking? What's going on with you? This is not you. What? He's not used to being communicated with that way. He's used to being told what to do. See, we're so used to kind of getting our message across. We don't think from their perspective. And now they're best friends. They've solved the problem. Now he's learning from us as well, the son, how to communicate with people with trust. And I think this is a missing skill in most companies right now, in all levels of leadership, especially in selling.
Yes, absolutely. And I love how our kids prime our leadership if we let them. And that's key. We have to be open to that.
Correct.
So what are you most hopeful about when you think of leadership?
Well, I'm hopeful that people are starting to realize that life is shorter to not play the games that we play with each other or ourselves, that it's time to really step up and be more authentic and to really help people get to their own truth as well. And if you're in that mission with people, then we should definitely be talking.
Love it. Truth teller. Trust, that's absolutely important in leadership. Now, Ari, you have an option here. You can take a question from a former guest, or you can share a struggle or a challenge that you learned from.
I'll take a question.
You take a question? Okay. Marty Parker wants to know, what is the one attribute that leaders need to have more of today?
The willingness to be bold and courageous in how you communicate with people, and not to dance around issues, but to be specific about them and just tell them the truth up front in a loving bedside manner way, like a doctor.
So, when we first came on, you're an authority on trust-based selling, but really anybody can learn so much from you. They don't have to be in sales. It's about communication. It's about connecting. It's about trust, authenticity, courage. To me, that's leadership.
Correct.
And so unlockthegame.com. All right. Now, as a listener of this podcast, what's a question that you would like to ask a future leadership guest? Like, what are you curious about?
I'd say, what are the attributes, in their opinion, of what they think the ultimate leader is? What is the ultimate leader?
Excellent question. I love it. All right, Ari, is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners?
I would just say this. If you are in the sales game to some respect, here's my last words to you. Stop selling and build trust instead with people. It's different than you being trustworthy. I'm not questioning you. I'm saying you have to be consciously aware of how others perceive you. And that's your languaging, your mindset, your approach. It's a new skill you have to learn. It's not automatic.
You teach us that with your book, and you have courses on LinkedIn, unlockthegame.com. In a short time, I've learned so much, so I really appreciate it. Have a fantastic day.
Gracias. Gusto.
Igual, que tengas buen día.
Nos vemos.
Adiós.
In closing, here's a quick message. Coaching is the art of influence that underpins leadership in the 21st century. It is the very thing that can get you from being stuck to being extraordinary. So go to masterleadership.org and sign up to get a free coaching session. Until next time, continue to ignite that leader in you.